Chapter 2. New Beginning of Work. Morning light filtered through the high windows, pale, slow, deliberate, casting long shadows across the lab's stainless steel counters. The air was cool and dry, faintly scented with varnish and old paper. A magnifying lamp glowed above a half-restored scroll, its edges fragile with time. The room felt monastic in its quiet. Brushes lay in perfect alignment beside trays of pigment and adhesive. A microscope idled nearby, its lens hovering over porcelain. In the corner, a climate monitor pulsed green, guarding against the slow violence of humidity. Across long tables, sunlight rested on canvases and ceramic fragments, survivors of centuries. Chen Lian, 26, worked in silence. Her eyes were steady, her movements delicate. With the tiniest brush, she touched the worn corner of the ancient scroll. Softly, she whispered to it, "You've survived storms, hands, time. You can handle a little care." From the next table, her colleague Mei Shui leaned over. "Talking to relics again?" Chen Lian smiled faintly. "If you listen long enough, they talk back." Mei Shui let out a quiet laugh, warm, grounded, the kind that exists only between people unhurried with each other. At noon, inside the museum cafe, crowds moved quietly among sculptures, the hush of art extending even into lunch hours. Chen Lian sat with her lunchbox, sketching a column on her pad, absorbed in the way light fractured against marble. A polite voice interrupted. "Excuse me, may I sit here? Every other seat seems occupied." She looked up. Dr. Zhao Wen, 32, in a formal suit, with tired but kind eyes, stood with a coffee and a folder. "Sure, go ahead," she said. He sat, noticing her drawing. "That's very precise. You even captured the crack down the center." Chen Lian's reply was light. "Imperfections make things real. I restore paintings, not erase them." "Restoration that explains the eye for detail," Zhao Wen said. "I'm a psychiatrist. I'm here to evaluate staff stress levels, though I suspect I might be contributing to them." They shared a quiet laugh. Her laughter was soft, unguarded, the kind that didn't disturb a room but settled it. He felt that rare comfort. "Maybe you could try restoring people instead of just diagnosing them," she suggested. Smiling, he nodded. "I'll keep that in mind. Nice meeting you, miss." Chen Lian. They exchanged a polite nod. As he left, Zhao Wen glanced back, and there she was, already sketching again, absorbed, peaceful, existing within her quiet inner world. Evening settled over the hospital like a heavy blanket. In the psychiatry wing, the lights dimmed to muted amber, casting long shadows across the pale corridor walls. The low hum of ventilation filled the silence steadily, subdued, like a held breath. A nurse pushed a supply cart past the observation room, her footsteps careful, as though carrying something fragile through the quiet. The waiting area was nearly empty, a lone man hunched over a clipboard, his pen unmoving. Muted news flickered on a television in the corner, throwing restless color across expressionless faces. The antiseptic scent clung to the air, sharp and sterile, but underneath lingered something older, the musk of paper, faint dust, and the faint memory of lavender from a forgotten diffuser. In his office, Dr. Lin Zeyuan sat at his desk, posture severe, eyes unreadable as they skimmed a stack of reports. His pen moved in precise, impersonal strokes. The room felt airless, as though emotion itself had been banished. The door opened softly. Dr. Zhao Wen stepped inside, coffee cup in hand, still the gentle echo of Chen Lian's laugh. "I met an interesting woman today," he said lightly. "An art restorer at the museum. Calmest presence I've encountered in months." Not even a flicker of reaction. Zeyuan didn't look up, didn't slow his writing, barely allowed the words to reach him. He murmured, neutral, distant, and rose to pull another file from a cabinet. He walked past Zhao Wen without a glance, as though the room itself had swallowed him. The door closed quietly, finally. Zhao Wen stood for a moment, staring into the space Zeyuan had left behind. In the sterile hush of the hallway, he felt the absence more than any presence. He used to like this, he whispered to himself. He would look up when someone spoke. He let out a soft, tired breath, and it seemed to echo against the cold air. Above him, the fluorescent light gave a faint tremor, a brief flicker, as if something unseen had shivered at the name he had spoken. The conference hall was empty at this hour. Rows of chairs stood neatly aligned, the air calm, still, expectant. Chen Lian stepped through the side door, carrying her notes and a slim laptop case. Frosted windows along the wall were veiled by pale, motorized blinds, softening daylight into a muted haze. She noticed the remote resting on the podium. Lifting it, she pressed the button. The blinds rose in a graceful, gradual glide. Sunlight spilled in, warm, golden, clean. It cascaded across her face, painting her skin in soft radiance. Her expression brightened instantly. Her beauty was gentle, the kind that grew the longer one looked. Delicate features, porcelain skin glowing under light, a slender frame wrapped in pale beige and denim. Her eyes, dark and serene, reflected quiet intelligence. Her lips curved in a small, contented smile, as if the morning itself had greeted her. She twirled lightly, a spontaneous swirl of motion. Her neatly tied ponytail spun in the air, catching sunlight like strands of silk. For a moment, she looked free, unguarded, alive, utterly herself. She didn't know someone stood just beyond the half-open door. Dr. Lin Zeyuan paused there, silent. He had been on his way to deliver a patient case file to Dr. Han Yao, just another routine task, but something made him stop. Through his eyes, the world shifted. Around Chen Lian, the air began to glow. A faint swirling mist of white gold light rippled like liquid morning, soft yet vibrant. It was the color he saw only when a person's inner state was suffused with joy, curiosity, and gentle creative euphoria. For him, this was not imagination. It was her truth, her soul made visible. He watched wordlessly, the quiet ache of recognition blooming in his chest, a shade of purity he hadn't encountered in years. At last he moved again, softly closing the door and walking down the bright hospital corridor. His steps were steady, but something inside him was not. He held the patient's file in one hand, but his mind remained in that room of sunlight. White gold mist. I haven't seen that shade in so long. Even the calm patients only glow pale blue at most. He passed a nurse, a patient, and an intern. Muted colors surrounded each. Grief gray, anxiety violet, fatigue brown. Every corridor, every shift, every day. But her? She wasn't weighed down by anything. Not suppression, not sorrow, not fear. Just light. He exhaled slowly, not sharply, but like someone realizing they had been holding their breath for years. His world, normally quiet, clinical, color-restrained, felt momentarily less oppressive. Just seeing her. Why did that feel so peaceful? He paused before Han Yao's office door, touching the frame absently. A thought flickered through him, startling in its softness. I didn't know simple presence could feel restorative. He knocked once and entered, though a part of him remained in that sunlit hall, watching the girl with the silk ponytail, who had made the morning brighter simply by being. Dr. Lin Zeyuan stepped inside and placed the file neatly on the desk. Han Yao sat behind it, composed, silver-streaked hair brushed back, reading glasses low on the bridge of his nose. He finished signing a document before speaking. You look like you're carrying more thoughts than papers today, Han Yao said. Zeyuan blinked once, a micro-hesitation. Just the usual. Here's the revised case report on Ward B. Han Yao took it, leafing through the pages. Your assessments remain precise, he remarked, then added casually, but your handwriting is getting smaller. Zeyuan didn't comment. Silence spoke for him. Han Yao skimmed the reports, then closed the file quietly, not satisfied, not displeased, simply concluding. There's a professional lecture this evening in the main hall, he said. A visiting specialist is speaking on emotional perception and the psychology of aesthetic response. I want you to attend. Zeyuan's gaze froze on the edge of the desk. A public lecture, with a crowd? Han Yao's eyes lifted sharply. Not a crowd, an audience, there's a difference. Zeyuan's jaw tensed. You know I don't. He stopped himself. Han Yao finished the thought for him, voice calm, clinical. Function well in unpredictable emotional environments. Yes, I know. He removed his glasses, folding them with slow precision. That's exactly why you need to be there. Zeyuan flinched inwardly.
This wasn't an invitation. It was controlled exposure, like a doctor testing a nerve.
Is this a diagnostic observation? He asked. An evaluative one, Han Yao replied. You've improved in controlled spaces, patience one-on-one, predictable emotional patterns, but complex environments still overwhelm you. Zeyuan looked away. He hated being transparent. He hated that Han Yao could see through him so easily. If you intend to remain in this profession, Han Yao continued, you must learn to exist among real humans, not just patients. Then, a rare softening. And I believe what you will hear tonight may surprise you. Zeyuan did not ask how or who. He inhaled once, slowly. I'll attend. Han Yao nodded, the decision expected, but meaningful. Good. I'll be observing your reactions throughout, not your behavior, your internal state. Zeyuan gave a very small, humorless breath. You don't make this feel like a trap at all. Han Yao's lips tucked in the smallest ghost of a smile. If this were a trap, you would already know. Zeyuan allowed the faintest dry exhale, almost a laugh, and left the room. Thank you for reading. How do you interpret Zeyuan's hesitation? Is it fear, resistance, or the first step toward change?